قهرت بها كل شيء وخضع لها كل شيء وذل لها كل شيء فبجبروتك التي غلبت بها كل شيء فبعزتك التي لا يقوم لها شيء فبعظمتك التي ملأت كل شيء فبسلطانك الذي على كل شيء فبوجهك الباقي بعد فناء كل شيء فبأسمائك التي ملأت أركان كل شيء فبعلمك الذي أحاط بكل شيء فبنور وجهك الذي أضاء له كل شيء يا نور يا قدوس يا نور يا قدوس يا نور يا قدوس يا أول الأولين ويا آخر الآخرين اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تهتك الحصان اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تبذل النغام اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تغير النعم اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تحبس الدعاء اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تنزل البلاء اللهم اغفر لي كل ذنب أذنبته وكل خطيئة أخطأتها اللهم إني أتغرب إليك بذكرك وأستشفع بك إلى نفسك وأسألك بجودك أن تدنيني من غربك وأن توزعني شكرك وأن تلهمني ذكرك اللهم إني أسألك سؤال خاضع متذلل خاشع أن تصامحني وترحمني وتجعلني لاسمك راضيا قانعا وفي جميع الأهوال متواضعا اللهم وأسألك سؤال من اشتدت طاقته وأنزل بك عند الشدائد حاجته وعظم فيما عندك رغبته اللهم عظم سلطانك وعلى مكانك وخفي مكرك وظهر أمرك وغلب غهرك وجرت قدرتك ولا يمكن الفرار من حكومتك اللهم لا أجد لذنوبي غافلا ولا لقبائحي ساترا ولا لشيء من عملي القبيح بالحسن مبدلا غيرك لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك وبحمدك ظلمت نفسي وتجرأت بجهل جهلي ظلمت نفسي وتجرأت بجهلي وسجنت إلى قديم ذكرك لي فمنك علي اللهم مولاي كم من قبيح سترت وكم من فاضح من البلاء أقلت وكم من حصار بغيت وكم من مكروه دفعت وكم من ثناء جميل لست أهلا له نشرت اللهم عظم بلائي وأبرد بي سوء حالي وبصرت بي أعمالي وقعدت بي أغلالي وحبسني عن نفعي بعد أملي وخدعتني الدنيا بغرورها ونفسي بجنانتها فمطالي يا سيدي فأسألك بعزتك ألا يحجب عنك دعائي سوء عملي وفعالي ولا تفضحني بخفي ما اطلعت عليه من سري ولا تعاجلني بالعقوبة ما عملته في خلواتي من سوء فعلي وإساءتي وضوام تفريطي وجهالتي وكثرة شهواتي وغفلتي وكن اللهم بعزتك لي في كل الأحوال رؤوفا وعلي في جميع الأمور عطوفا إلهي وربي من لي غيره إلهي وربي ومولاي أجريت علي حكما اتبعت فيه هوى نفسي ولم أحترس فيه من تسجين عدوي فغرني بما هوى وأسعده على ذلك الغضاء وتجاوزت بما جرى علي من ذلك بعض حدودك وخالفت بعض أوامرك ولك الحمد علي في جميع ذلك ولا حجة لي فيما جرى علي في قضاءك وألزمني حكمك وبلاءك وقد أتيتك يا إلهي بعد تقصيري وإسرافي على نفسي معتذرا نادما منكسرا مستغيلا مستغفرا منيبا مقرا مذعنا معترفا لا أجد مفرا مما كان مني ولا مفزعا أتوجه إليه في أمري غير قبولك عذري وإدخالك إياي في سعة رحمتك اللهم فاقبل عذري وارحم شدة ضري وفكني من شد بطاقي يا رب ارحم ضعف بدني يا رب ارحم ضعف بدني ورقة جلدي ودقة عظمي يا من بدأ خلقي وذكري وتربيتي ببري وتغذيتي هبني لابتداء كرمك وصالف برك بي يا إلهي وسيدي وربي أتراك معذبي بنارك بعد توحيدك وبعد من طوى عليه قلبي وبعد من طوى عليه من قلبي من معرفتك والإعجابي لساني من ذكرك واعتقده ضميري من حبك وبعد صدق اعترافي ودعائي خاضعا لربوبيتك هيهات أنت أكرم من أن تضيع من ربيته أو تبعد من أدنيته أو تشرد من آويته أو تسلم إلى البلاء من كفيته ورحمته وليت شعري يا سيدي وإلهي ومولاي أتسلط النار على وجوه خرتها من المكاره على أهلها على أن ذلك بلاء ومكروه قليل مكثور يسير مقام قصير مدته فكيف احتمالي لبلاء الآخرة وجليل وقوع المكاره فيها وهو بلاء تطول مدته ويدوم وأصبر على فراقك وهبني صبرت على حر نارك فكيف أصبر على النظر إلى كرامتك أم كيف أسكن في النار ورجائي عفوك وبعزتك يا سيدي ومولاي أقسم صادقا لئن تركتني ناطقا لأذجن إليك بين أهلها زجيج الآملين ولأصرخن إليك صراخ المستصرخين ولأبكين عليك بكاء الفاقدين ولأنادينك أين كنت يا ولي المؤمنين يا غاية آمال العارفين يا غياث المستغيثين يا غياث المستغيثين يا غياث المستغيثين يا حبيب قلوب الصادقين ويا إله العالمين أفتراك سبحانك يا إلهي وبحمدك تسمع فيها صوت عبد مسلم سجن فيها بمخالفته وضاق طعم عذابها بمعصيته وحبس بين أطباقها بجرمه وجريرته وهو يضج إليك زجيج مؤمل برحمتك ويناديك بلسان أهل توحيدك ويتوسل إليك بربوبيتك يا مولاي فكيف يبقى في العذاب وهو يرجو ما سلف من حلمك أم كيف تؤلمه النار وهو يأمل فضلك ورحمتك أم كيف يحرقه لهيبها وأنت تسمع صوته وترى مكانه أم كيف يشتمل عليه زفيرها وأنت تعلم زعفه أم كيف يتغلغل بين أطباقها وأنت تعلم صدقه أم كيف تزجره بزوانيتها وهو يناديك يا ربه أم كيف يرجو فضلك في عتقه منها وتتركه فيها هيهات هيهات ما ذلك الظن بك ولا المعروف من فضلك ولا مشبه لما عملت به الموحدين من برك وإحسانك فباليقين أقطع لولا ما حكمت به من تعذيب جاحديك وقضيت به من إخلاد مالديك فجعلت النار كلها بردا وسلاما وما كان لأحد فيها مقرا ولا مقاما لكنك تقدست أسماؤك أقسمت أن تملاها من الكافرين من الجنة والنالت بالإنعام متكرما أفمن كان مؤمنا كمن كان فاسقا لا يستوون إلهي وسيدي فأسألك بالقدرة التي قدرتها وبالقضية التي حتمتها وحكمتها فغلبت من عليه أجريتها أن تهب لي في هذه الليلة وفي هذه الساعة كل جرم أجرمته وكل ذنب أذنبته وكل قبيح أسررته وكل جهل عملته كتمته أو أعلنته أخفيته أو أظهرته وكل سيئة أمرت بإثباتها الكرام الكاتبين الذين وكلتهم بحفظ ما يكون مني وجعلتهم شهودا علي مع جوارحي وكنت أنت الرقيب علي من ورائهم والشاهد لما خفي عنهم وبرحمتك أخفيته وبفضلك سترته وأن توفر حظي من كل خير أنزلته أو إحسان فضلته أو بر نشرته أو رزق بسطته أو ذنب تغفره أو خطأ تستره يا ربي يا ربي يا ربي يا ربي يا رب يا ربي يا ربي يا رب يا إلهي وسيدي ومولاي ومالك رقي يا من بيده ناصيتي يا عليما بضري ومسكنتي يا خبيرا بفقري وفاقتي يا ربي يا ربي يا رب يا ربي أسألك بحقك وقدسك وأعظم صفاتك وأسمائك أن تجعل أوقاتي من الليل والنهار بذكرك معمورة وبخدمتك موصولة وأعمالي عندك مقبولة حتى تكون أعمالي وأورادي كلها بردا واحدا وحالي في خدمتك سرمدا يا سيدي يا من عليه معبلي يا من إليه شكوت أحوالي يا ربي يا ربي يا رب يا ربي قبل على خدمتك جوارحي واشدد على العظيمة جوارحي وهب لي الجد في خشيتك والدوام في الاتصال بخدمتك حتى أسرح إليك في ميادين السابقين وأسرع إليك في البارزين واشتاق واجتمع في جوارك مع المؤمنين واجتمع في جوارك مع المؤمنين اللهم ومن أرادني بسوء فأرده ومن كادني فكد واجعلني من أحسن عبيدك نصيبا عندك وأقربهم منزلة منك وأخصهم زلفة لديك فإنه لا ينال ذلك إلا بفضلك وجد لي بجودك واعطف علي بمجدك واحفظني برحمتك واجعل لساني بذكرك لهجا وقلبي بحبك متيما ومن علي بحسن إجابتك ومن علي بحسن إجابتك وأقلني عثرتي واغفر زلتي فإنك قضيت على عبادك بعبادتك وأمرتهم بدعائك وضمنت لهم الإجابة فإليك يا ربي نصبت وجهي وإليك يا ربي مددت يدي فبعزتك استجب لي دعائي فبعزتك استجب لي دعائي وبلغني مناي ولا تقطع من فضلك رجائي واكفني شر الجن والإنس من أعضائي يا سريع الرضا يا سريع الرضا يا سريع الرضا اغفر لمن لا يملك إلا الدعاء فإنك فعال لما تشاء يا من اسمه دواء وذكره شفاء وطاعته غناء ارحم من رأس ماله الرجاء وسلاحه البكاء يا سابغ النعم يا دافع النقم يا نور المستوحشين بالظلم يا عالما لا يعلم صل على محمد وآل محمد وافعل بي ما أنت أهله وصلى الله على رسوله والأئمة الميامين من آله وسلم
صل على محمد وآل محمد. استجابة الدعاء والمسألة. استجابة الدعاء والمسألة الفاتحة تسبقها الصلاة على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
خلاص أم عالية.
Is that slide A?
هي المدام. اوكي يا شيخ الشيخ حمادي.
You don't need this, right? أفلح من صلى على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. حسان you ready? حسان.
It's all the same. Okay, brother, we're ready.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. وصلى الله على محمد أهل البيت الطيبين الطاهرين. قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتاب المجيد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ربي زدني علما. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Last week, we touched on a very important aspect. A noble scholar named Allama Baqir Qarashi, he wrote a book, The Life of Imam Ali. And last week, I showed you some aspects in that book that are covering Nabi Muhammad's education of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Nabi Muhammad's education of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Last week we saw that. One other story in that book, on 21st of Ramadan, when Imam Ali was martyred, one of his devout followers who was in Kufa, he moved to Syria, Damascus. As soon as he reached Damascus, Muawiyah knew that this lover of Ali ibn Abi Talib has come, so he called him. And he told him, he said, you love Ali ibn Abi Talib? He says, yes. I want you to describe his qualities. He says, excuse me, but I'd rather not. Muawiyah kept insisting until the man said, yes, I'll do it. This is what he said. Please, I need to affiliate myself with the Imam. And this we saw last week, that the whole teaching of Ahlul Bayt is only two sources, teaching and the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Sunnah al-Nabi. You look at Quran and you go to Sunnah al-Nabi. That's all. And Nabi Muhammad trained Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib. So, I'll continue. This was from last week. Inshallah, I'll go real quick on this one here so we can get to the next one. Here we go. The life of Imam Ali. A devout follower. His name was Damarah in the history. And this is the book. In that book, this story is described. If I love Imam Ali, then I must follow other lovers of Imam Ali. We're talking about now 14 centuries ago, approximately. He reported, following the martyrdom of Imam Ali alayhi salam, I headed for Syria to see Muawiyah. This is the way exactly how it is narrated in the book. Knowing that I was a devotee of Imam Ali alayhi salam, of course Muawiyah has to ask. What did he ask? Describe Ali to me. Now, think of it very seriously. If somebody comes to me and say, you follow Ali, yes, describe to him, I'll have a loss of words. I'm talking about myself. I don't know about anybody else. Somebody stops you, a moment, a Muslim, and says, are you Shia? I said, yes. You love Ali? Yes. Can you describe him? I'll have difficulty. I'm talking about myself. To really portray a picture that will give him, and I cannot, I have to go back to the scholars. The scholars pick up these gems. When you're faced with a situation like this, here's a devout follower, what he had to say, I like to learn. Okay, so The Mara replied. He said several times, no, no, no. Finally, he said yes, because Muawiyah kept insisting. He said, listen carefully. The first thing he told Muawiyah, recorded in the book, Muawiyah, listen carefully. And to date, Muawiyahs have never listened. There are a lot of Muawiyahs today. Muawiyah is a character, personification. Ali is a personification of all pure haq 100%. Muawiyah is all down. Two scales. Okay, so now listen carefully, he tells. This is the courage of a lover of Ali who stood there in Muawiyah's face. He's Khalifatul Muslimin. And he said, Ali was. I think I can memorize these things and go on saying, sharp-sighted. His basira was so sharp. He says, his yaqeen will not increase if all the veils are lifted. If all the veils were lifted, his yaqeen will not increase. And there is a hadith. He was so certain, Ali ibn Abi Talib was certain about his iman, was certainly about his deen. He was certain, period. In his following, sharp-sighted. How do I describe? If somebody asks me, so Ali was sharp, what does it mean? Can anybody understand and say, what does sharp-sighted mean? Okay, Ali was sharp, what does it mean? To me, I can only describe, anybody who wants to share, please do that. He could see through people. He could see what was in their heart. He can see what was for tomorrow for them. He can see through them. That's why Muawiyah was terrified of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Didn't want to come face him. That's why Ali ibn far-sighted. It's so difficult to visualize or even explain these words. Of course, these are translations. So what it would be like Arabic is beyond my comprehension. He was far-sighted. Can any one of us say, am I far-sighted? No. I'm very frank to you in the context of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Far-sightedness. He could see. He told his son, he told his son, Ya Aba Muhammad, I wasn't there in the desert, but I see Musa ibn Imran. I can see Musa, his sight was so focused, he can go into the past and into the future. That's the ghaibah that Allah gave him. Ilm al-ghaib. He was not controlled by time and space. Then you have prudent. How do you describe prudence? Anybody?
What's in Arabic?
حلم.
Him?
Helm, okay.
How can you describe? I cannot. Anybody who wants to describe, please feel free to share with me. Prudence. How can I be prudent when I don't even know what it means to be prudent? Hilm is a requirement of Iman. To be prudent. Far-sighted. He had hilm. Now, I don't know what Muawiyah would do with these things. Because he's oblivious. All he can do is count dirhams and money and palaces and carpets, and this is beyond him. And strong in the way of Allah. He was strong. Nothing deterred him. And he used to say that this son of Abu Talib, he's not afraid of death. Not afraid of death. And this is what he was describing. Strong in the way of Allah. And you go and read his history. Every battle that he did, he was copy. Every battle. Every battle. Every battle. What he said was a criterion to what? To distinguish between what was just and unjust. He was the Furqan. Anything he did was separating truth from dhulm, injustice. Because he was haq. Ali ma'al haq. Haqqa ma'al Ali. Rasul's hadith. Ali is with haq, haq is with Ali. And that's why I said yesterday, last week, that Ali told this soldier of Muawiyah, when he asked Ali's sword, Ali gave him, he told this man, he said, I want to follow you, Ali. He said, no, don't follow me. This is the message for me. Don't follow Ali, follow haq. Because I can follow Ali without knowing haq. But if I know Haqq, Haqq will take me to Ali. Very simple. Simple. The more you understand Haqq from Quran, from the history, from life of Amir al-Mu'mineen, the gauge is Haqq. I don't know how many ayahs of Haqq are there in the Quran. And Allah says, I'm going to separate Haqq and Batil, Haqq and Batil, Haqq and Batil all over again. But if I don't know the definition of Haqq, if I don't know the depth of Haqq, how can I know him? He was a distinguisher. And in my heart, he was a distinguisher. That's the way he described him. Then he says, his judgment was fair. He would not do it. He would not do zulm. Like Zarra, like Khala Zarra. He was so just. His sword was just. His pen was just. His personality was just. His character was just. His sayings were just. His living was just. He was just, period. Haqq and Ali. Then you have, he was abounding in knowledge. Now look at the combination. He is Babe Madinatul Ilm. There's no other door. I've left a lot of history. I've got Siyah Sitta, Sahih Bukhari, and on and on and on and on. There's only one hadith, Ana Madinatul Ilm, Ali Baba. There's nobody else. Nobody is there, authentically. And he proved it throughout his life, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Go to Ali. There are a lot of stories during the time of especially Umar and Uthman, because they ruled the longest of the three Khalifas. Anytime they had difficulty, they said, go to Al-Hasan. Call up Al-Hasan. Call up Al-Hasan. Call up Al-Hasan. It's on the story of Umar and Uthman. You have to read the history, because he knew what justice is. He himself was just. Wisdom was evident in all dimensions of his character. My God, I mean, that's why I said this. To look at him was actually looking at the face of an hour. This was him. Wisdom was evident in all dimensions, and of course Muawiyah was totally in the dark, so he couldn't see the wisdom. Mithal al-Tammar, Salman al-Farsi, Abad al-Ghafiri, they knew the value of this man. His intuition satisfied those who had a thirst for improvement. He feared the ornaments of the world. This is zinat-e hayat dunya. That's the struggle for all of us. On one hand, you have zinat hayat, when you have akhirah. Choose what you want. Present life or something that you'll get multiplied. And that's the part of a mu'min and mu'minah, to constantly weigh what is in the akhirah. What is in the akhirah. Then you have, he was devoted to the nocturnal supplication. He was natural supplicator. I mean, we just read Dua Kumail. That every word is a pearl of Dua Kumail. You go to Dua Kumail. We read it every Thursday night. Every word is a pearl. What is he telling us? You want to follow me? Ali is saying, well, take lesson from Dua Kumail. Take lessons from Dua Kumail. We just read it. Allahumma kfirli zanub allati tahbisu dua. Dua Kumail. Oh Allah, how many of my zulm, my sins are stopping my dua to go up. I keep saying I dua, but I'm doing zulm at the same time. Imam Ali is saying, ask for forgiveness of the action that you're doing wrong contrary to your dua. Because the dua is not going to be completed. There are a lot of frills in between. Barriers that we have created without knowing. And Allah and Imam Ali is saying, ask forgiveness for that. Maybe your dua will go up. I do not look at my my bad habits, wrong actions. I want to ask, give. Okay, pondering over the tumultuous future made him cry ceaselessly. He didn't care for the future because he saw nothing but tyranny. Muawiyah, Banu Umayyah, Banu Abbas. He could see through time. He could see through miseries. And that's very painful. That's extremely painful for him. Wearing coarse garments was pleasure to him. Now, of course, I get dressed up properly. What do I know about being coarse dressed? I can make an excuse. Allah had given me the means. So I might be able to dress up better. I can't be like Ali. I can't.
Nobody can.
Nobody can. But we have to remind ourselves. There's a beauty in the coarseness of whatever we do. Allah is not looking for what I'm dressing in. I'm looking for what's in my heart. What's in my qalb moment. Then he says he loved plain food. And let me get through very quickly because I'm sure there's 5 or 6 course meal waiting for me. I'm not talking about anyone else. Salawat ala Muhammad. On this presentation, anybody has a question as I go along, please feel free to ask. If it's a short answer, I'll encourage, otherwise we can sit later on. Okay, so feel free. This is exactly what is in the book. He was not pretentious, but was like one of us. And that's a big thing. Do not create difference. I'm here, you're there. No matter what you are. No matter what you are. There was a story I read, I don't know how far this is true, a very well-known scholar was, doing wudu, and the man next to him was splashing water. He was practically taking a hot shower there instead of and the water was spilling onto this scholar. And scholar started, change of mood, like. And it happens, humans are human at the bottom, at the end of the day. He started feeling this uncomfortable feeling, and someone watching, he saw this change in this scholar. He told him afterward. He says, I saw that. He says, yeah, this man. He said, that's it. That's it. I mean, we become so judgmental and we fail the test. Allah will test us. And the more particular I am about certain thing, Allah will test me with that. Then you have, if we had any question, we would pose it to him and he would immediately answer. This is very important lesson to take from all of us. Today's world, we don't have time for our children or grandchildren. When they want us, we're too busy. When we go after them, they're busy. When somebody needs somebody, we need to listen. And this is what Allah is saying. I'm sending you the needy. Well, I don't have time. Come tomorrow. Bogara mañana. We missed the opportunity. I don't want to miss that opportunity. And that's why I have to be extremely careful. If somebody asking me, pay attention momentarily. Whatever you can do, don't walk away from it. If we ask for any help, he will immediately help us. I don't think I can do that. I don't think I can do that. Any help. And he'll give away food for 3 days, he and his dear wife and 2 sons. They feed Allah's love and they remain hungry. They remain hungry. This is Quran, this is Ahlul Bayt. Not only their food, had very little. Knock, 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 I'm miskeen. I haven't eaten. Here, take the food. Nothing, they just have water, the 4 of them. Next day, same thing. Yaqeen, knock, 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 I'm hungry. Yasir, this is giving of Ahlul Bayt. Although he was very intimate, he was so awesome that he would never dare to say anything, we would never dare to say anything in vain. This is important to develop this habit. Give space and time to everyone. Not by our choice. I choose, well, if somebody is like this, like this, like this, I'll go out of my way, whereas somebody is tugging at my shirt or pant or whatever, and I ignore them. That's where my answer should be. He was so dignified that we would never open our eyes on his face. Allahu Akbar. This is Karamullah al-Wajh. That's why he was known Karamullah al-Wajh. Looking at his face, looking at a scholar. You need to have the eyes that you can see this scholarly man, far-sighted, devoted, full of wisdom, full of knowledge, all combined. Now, he honored the people of religion and pleased the poor by hugging them. I don't even know how poor people are. We are not hugging them. I don't. But Imam Ali used to look for them in the night. Middle of the night, he and Kambar will walk. And same thing, his grandson, Ali ibn Hussain Zainul Abidin, will go in the night. In the night. They're not waiting for needed knock on their door. They are going to reach out for their needs. This is the power of giving. No man of authority dared to misuse his power in his presence so as to get his approval for the unjust act he had done. He would not allow anyone, irregardless of connection, relationship, he would not allow, period. Because he was Haq and he was Adil. He would not trade either one of them. No common person was made disappointed by his justice, thinking that since he had no power, he would be deprived of his justice. And this is exactly what's happening in the world today. If I get into trouble with the law, if I have tons of money, I can hire the best of lawyers. $500 an hour will guarantee you acquittal. That's the justice system today in the world. Even all parts of the world. Whether Muslim, non-Muslim country, everything has been corrupted by human beings. Knowingly, unknowingly, consciously, subconsciously. But it's going on. Going on. There's something going on in Pakistan. There is a Sharia. And that means a zone. It's not, okay, let's go. I take God as witness that in the middle of night and also when the stars were about to disappear, I saw him holding his beard in his hand. Allahu Akbar. And like one bitten by a snake, he wept bitterly, saying, "O world, go and deceive someone else, for I am not fond of you." We cannot be like Ali. We have to live in the world. We like possessions. But this is Ali. He is in a different class from himself. Nevertheless, if you are offering yourself to me, you are quite mistaken, for I have divorced you 3 times, giving you no chance of recourse. Of course, that's the Sharia. Divorce you, give me a go. He didn't care. His strength was his character. His qualities of his character. O world, know that your life is short, your worth is little, and your pleasure transient. And it is transient. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I mean, 50, 60 years ago, I thought, oh my God, the world is everything. But when I look back, I say, okay, grave, get ready for me. Oh, Malik al-Maut, come and take me. He's going to come. Suddenly, what seemed to be dazzling when I was young, today has no meaning. I'm trying to get rid of everything in my house so I can go back to, simplicity. I can't. You have to go through this process. As long as we are not owned by the world and the possessions we have, do not get owned by them. It's very, very important. You get attached by anything other, Allah takes that away. The very thing that you love, sometimes Allah takes that away. Okay. And pleasure is transient. Then he heard a sigh from Imam saying, "Oh, for little provision, long journey, and a path full of honor." He's saying. And we don't realize this life is very short, it will go away. It will go away. The real journey will begin from Barzakh. And that's why Quran repeats again and again and again and again. From moment to moment now, real life is the next one. Okay, now, if you give me a loud salawat, I'll give you another 5-10 minutes.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Well, I hope I haven't put anybody to sleep, okay? I mean, it's not my intention. Okay, I apologize if anybody is falling asleep. This, again, is it's a very interesting story. If you look at Quran is full of stories again and again. Adam is repeated, Noah is repeated, Iblis is repeated, Musa, Isa, they're repeated over and over and over, same story. Yet, each one has a new message, each one has a new dimension. It's not just repetitiveness. Each time Adam is mentioned, there's a different aspect. Each time Musa is mentioned, different aspect. Each time Ibrahim is mentioned, different aspect. It's just amazing. So, example of this, in Makkah, a Bedouin comes up, and I'll go very quickly with that. I know everybody is hungry with Thanksgiving turkey. I hope you get that. He saw a Bedouin touching the curtain of Kaaba. What better way to cry when you go for Hajj and Umrah, you want to hold on to Kaaba. That's this man, Hajj Ali Idris, was there with me, and Fatima Masri, and I'm so lucky to have these two who were there with Hajj with me. They were there, and he was very big help, and so was she. And just to get there, just to get a touch during the Hajj Umrah is very impossible. He lifted me up. I mean, there I am. He lifted me up and pasted me on the wall of Kaaba. Thank you very much.
Anytime.
You go
I'll do
again?
it again and again and again.
There, see. This is a real moment. Okay, so now this Bedouin says, I'm there, and he's saying, oh Lord of the house is yours, and the guest is yours. What a beautiful way to go, Kaaba. This is your house, I'm your servant, and I'm your guest. I'm yours 100%. Every host prepares certain means to receive his guest. Tonight, bless me by receiving me. Now, he's asking Allah to be my host. What a beautiful dua. He's there at Kaaba, covering himself with the shroud there and saying, I am your guest. You are my host. And he's saying, these are the words in the addressing his addressing his companion. Imam Ali was there. He says, are you not listening to this Bedouin? You have to wake them up. His companion. He says, you companions, are you listening to this Bedouin? He's holding on to Allah and asking Allah, host me. They said, yes, we are. Imam said, Allah is too great to return his guests empty-handed. Does anybody think Allah will not accept your dua? Or He's not accepting your dua? If He's not doing it for 3 reasons. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. One, He's going to give you something better. 2, He's going to calamities for you.
What?
He'll give it to you, calamities, troubles, tribulations away from you. If He's not giving you immediately, there are 3 reasons. And we don't look at those 3. We just say, give me. If it doesn't come out in my way of currency, I get disappointed. It has to be in my currency, my way. I don't have Masira of Ali ibn Abi Talib. He was farsighted. On the second night, Imam Ali found the same Bedouin touching the same pillar of Kaaba, saying, Almighty, there is no one mightier than you. This is tasbih or tamjeed. This is he's asking politely, one-on-one. Imam Ali is listening to it. He's saying, by your honor me in a way no one knows how I resort to you, by the honor of Muhammad and the family of Muhammad sallallahu
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
These are the real words. Grant me something no one but you can grant, and avert from me what? None but you can avert. Look at the way beauty of this. Honor me. Give me something that you can grant me and avert troubles from me. I can get the positive, but there's negative chasing me. He said, do both. Keep in the good one and take away the bad ones. It's a multiple dua, complete dua. I have to be aware of this. I'm only asking to give me, but there is something bad chasing me. I haven't asked him to remove that bad thing from me. I haven't taken the time. Malik al-Maut is chasing me every day. Qabr is waiting for me. Okay. Amir al-Mu'mineen said to his companions, by Allah, these words are the chief name of Allah in Syria. This is the old language in Syria and the Middle East. And these are the words of Imam Ali. My beloved Allah's Messenger has informed me that tonight this Bedouin has asked for paradise from Allah and his prayer was granted. And asked for aversion of hellfire, which was granted. The two things. Give me paradise, keep me away from hell. You need both. You need both. If I keep going towards paradise, but the hell is chasing me all the time. So it's like a difficult. You know, you're going up and you're tied down. Okay. Let me go quickly so that on the third night, this happened 2 nights. In the third night, Imam Ali again saw the same Bedouin in the same place saying, "Oh Allah, who is not contained in space and no space is divided." And now again, he's doing a spear. He keep on calling on Allah, the words that Allah likes to hear from us. Give this Bedouin 4,000 dirhams as sustenance. He's asking, give me 4,000 dirhams, Ya Allah, as a risk. He's specific, he says 4,000 dirhams. Imam Ali went to see him and said, "Oh Bedouin, you asked Allah to host you, and he did. You asked him that, the very first request was that I'm your home, I'm your guest. He hosted you. You wish paradise and it was granted to you. He gave you. You asked for aversion of hellfire and your prayer was granted." 1, 2, 3. Okay? Number 4. Tonight, you are asking for $4,000. Now, this man may be greedy a little bit, I don't know. First 3 wishes are done, 100%, he wants more. Give me 4,000. This is really, I find it very dynamic. This is a man of Allah. And Imam Ali is described. So Bedouin asked, "Who are you?" He didn't know Imam Ali. He said, "Who are you?" Imam said, "Okay, I'm Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam." The Bedouin said, "By Allah, you are the one I desire and you can meet my need." See, this is wasila. The Bedouin said, 1,000 for dowry. Now he's describing his 4,000. Listen. 1,000 for paying my debts. 1,000 purchasing a house. It was cheap in those days. I mean, you have to add a lot of zeros now to buy a house to 1,000. And 1,000 for running the affairs of my life. It's fair. I mean, it's fair. Fair request. And this is what he was saying. He said 1,000 for dowry because I have to get married. 1,000 for paying my debt off. 1,000 purchasing a house. And 1,000 for running the affairs of my life. The Imam replied, "You have been fair in asking for your needs." That's Imam Ali saying, be fair. Even in asking, you have to be just. Be inadvertently ask for things that may not be suitable for us. If Allah gives you that, and the story is there. The story of Khidr and Musa, today is not the time, but I'll go into that later on. Khidr and Musa is the same story. Whenever you leave Mecca for Medina, ask for my house. Come to my house. This was all being done in Medina. He said, when you come to Mecca, Imam Ali said, come and look for me up. So he stayed for a week, and then he went to Mecca starting, But he didn't know his house. He didn't have a Google, by the way. The idea, what is it called? Google Direction?
Google Map.
Google Map. He didn't have Google Map at that time. Another guy in my car. It's okay. I'm still old fashioned. Then he says, who will lead me to the house of the leader, Amir al-Mu'mineen? And then we are about to conclude. As this Bedouin is asking, a young boy goes up to him. He says, "I am Hussein ibn Ali. I will lead you to the house. I'm his son, Abdullah." The Bedouin asks, who is your father? And that's the word. Imam Hussein replied, Amir al-Mu'mineen is my father. Then he says, who's your mother? He's asking for al-Kunya. Okay, boy, who's your father? Who's your mother? He replied, the leader of the women of the world is my mother. Now, how beautifully Allah is introducing the Ahl Bayt through Hussein alayhi salam. He's introducing Ali, Fatima. The Bedouin asks, who is your grandfather? Of course. Hussein says, Allah's messenger is my grandfather. And who is your grandmother? The first and the best mu'minah. The first and the best, believe me. We'll talk in future, obviously. The Bedouin asks, who is your brother? Okay, about Muhammad. Bedouin, you've got the whole world. That's it. It says everything. That's the point I was trying to make. You have everything. The father, the mother, grandfather. This, what the beauty of this family is, we love this because every member is pure, purified by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I said, may Allah reward you for this news. Just the news carrier. You see how beautiful Islam is. The news carrier. Saying this is what happened, what your husband did. And she's blessing him. May Allah reward you, the news carrier. Ali was sitting there giving away a handful of dirham to the needy, so much so that there was nothing left for him. That's Ali. That's Ali. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم اللهم إني أسألك بحق محمد آل محمد عليك صل على محمد آل محمد واجعل النور في بصري بصيرة في ديني واليقين في قلبي والإخلاص في عملي والسعادة في رزقي والشكر لك على ما أعطيتني السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. If anybody has any question on the presentation, I'm here. Okay? This is, sorry.
Hassan.
Thank you very much. This is exactly how it's recorded in the history. Okay? There's no change. I don't make changes. I'm just collect. This book is very, very, I found it extremely good. I just looked, I'm cherry picker. You know cherry picker? Who wants to pick cherries only, you know, like ripe cherries. I love cherries, but it has to be ripe. Ripe and full. And also like baklava. Somebody promised baklava, I'm still waiting for it. I'm not gonna look or sell it to
You
anybody.
got it.
I'm sorry?
He's talking to you.
Sorry?
He's talking to you.
Okay. I ask all of you to pray for me and my family.